Hey guys, I'm in a little bit of a different location today, if you can tell. Thank you, Polson, for letting me come down and finish up the rest of these videos. So this video is going to be pertaining to Dante, and it's going to be about how to get a device onto the Dante network. For instance, right now I'm setting up Polson's computer so they will have a backup. And if there's anything like that, like if you need a backup computer that you don't have set up yet, if something were to, for some reason, go offline, you needed to reset a device, something like that, I'm going to show you how to actually connect something. I showed you how to patch things in Dante, but I'm going to show you how to actually get a device, physically connected device, and get it onto the Dante network. So let's take a look at that. The first thing I'm going to show you really quick is the switcher here. So this is just a look at what Polson's got set up. Should be somewhat similar to what every other campus has set up, but this is just a look at our network switcher. So this is where we actually have Dante coming out from. So these two connections here, this is an input and an output. So these two connections here are running to the primary port of the soundboard. So that's where like the video, the clicks and cues, all that kind of stuff is coming from. So now we've got this second one set up here. So this is where the backup is going to be running from. I'll show you where that's going into the board. So now we're looking at the back of the board, and they're using an SI expression board, but again, for the campuses that have different boards, it should be pretty much the same setup. So you've got our Dante inputs here. So we've got the blue cable that I showed you first, that's the primary. So that is, that's feeding in the video, the clicks and cues, all the main stuff that you're going to be playing on the weekends. But this black cable that we just hooked up, this is coming from that second row that I was showing you. So this is now our backup. So this is going into the secondary port for Dante. So that is now our backup, and I'll show you here in a second how I set that up on the backup computer and how you can patch it from Dante controller and then onto the board. So if you see here, I've got a bunch of codes in front of me. I'll show you what those are for here in just a second. So what we're going to do is we need Dante virtual sound card, which looks like this. So it's not the same as Dante controller because you don't do any kind of patching here. You don't do anything that involves getting the channels connected. This is simply for running the sound through this computer. So you need this in order for it to be registered as a device on the Dante network. So basically this is telling you how many channels it's going to send out. This is telling you the latency setting, the network that it's on, all that kind of stuff. So this is as it's called, it's a virtual sound card. Just like a physical sound card would be in a computer. So this is a virtual sound card. So this is how the sound is actually transmitting from this computer and getting into Dante controllers so that we can patch it. So this is like the step before that. So I showed you the video on Dante controller, but this now is for virtual sound card. So this is a great example to record because I'm on Polson's backup computer right now. So they actually did not have a backup set up. So I looked this morning and they did not have a virtual sound card downloaded onto their computer. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how you can go download that. So obviously the church has one account. So because this is not a private page, it has to be a public page. For the sake of accessibility, I'm not going to give you the account information on the video because that would be dumb. But I will tell you if you need to be able to log into the account, you can get with Tim and he can give you the login information. So if virtual sound card is already on your computer and is already activated, then you will not need to do any of what I'm about to show you. But if it is not on your, let's say you're setting up a backup just like this, or something goes wrong with Dante on your original computer, you decide I'm just going to reset it. I'm just going to like start fresh basically. Which if you were going to do that, I would also say call Tim. Just make sure that that's what you actually need to do. But anyways, so if you did not have virtual sound card downloaded, like they didn't have it on this computer, so this is what you're going to do. So you go into if you go to Audinate's website, you log in, and again, Tim can give you that information. So you're going to go to My Account. Well, first of all, you're going to go to Products, and you'll go to Virtual Sound Card. There is a download link down here. You can select the operating system that you're on, download it, open it up, and it's going to ask you for a license number. So you're going to go to My Account once you're logged in, My Products. Okay, so now there's this massive list of codes. So not all of these work. So I had to go down to I think like here before I found one that actually worked. So you'll just kind of have to go through this list if this is what you're doing. there's not really a great way of doing this other than like trial and error that I know of. So unless they have a list of the ones that are active, which I don't think they do. So some of these have been registered. There's like a certain amount of times they can be registered. So you'll have to go through until you find a license number that works, and it's going to ask you for that here. So it's going to ask you for the license number. You put that in, you activate it, and then it'll take you to the settings screen, and you'll be good to go. So once this settings screen is activated, you could change this. So I'm going to stop this for a second, actually, because you'll have to start this when you want to use it. And I just looked over to the other computer, and it just took that device off of Dante controller right when I stopped that. So if you want to change anything, like if you want to change the amount of channels you're transmitting, which for a backup computer, I'm going to go ahead and do 16 by 16. Latency, you probably shouldn't mess with that. That's just the delay setting to make sure everything's transferring at a good speed. Network interface, there shouldn't be more than one of those, so make sure that's selected because it won't let you start until it's selected. So right now, it's the interface it's selecting is the switcher that I showed you earlier. So we're going to hit start. And I'm waiting. Yep, it just showed up on Dante controller on the other computer, which is what I'm about to show you. So this is how to get into SoundCard, how to download SoundCard, and also how to start it activating. So now I'm going to go ahead and switch over computers, and I'm going to show you how to patch this as a backup channel. Like a refresher, if you've watched the video for SoundCard already, for Dante controller already. So I'm going to show you kind of what we're doing here. So we now, before I set that other computer up, we just had Polson's iMac and Soundcraft console. So you'll see the cross between these, the intersection between these has all these connected. So this is your left and right, your tracks, your clicks and cues, all that good stuff. So now we are going to set this one up as a backup. So we're going to go to the intersection of Mac Mini and Soundcraft console. We're going to find some channels that have not been used yet. So I'm going to go 1 and 2. For now, this is all I'm going to do. I'm just going to do 1 and 2 on Polson's Mini, and that should just be the left and right output of the computer. So this would just be the video coming from the computer. So now that's pretty much all we've got to do here to get that patched in to the board. Well, we'll actually have to physically patch it on the board, but this is pretty much all we'll have to do on the controller to get audio from the second computer onto the board. So now we're going to look at that, doing that physically. All right, now, forgive me if this part's a little shaky, but I'm going to show you how to actually get this on the board. So I've done a video about patching Dante onto the board, but I'm just going to show you this again to make sure that you kind of got an idea of it. So I'm going to set up a link channel on these two faders here, and I'm going to patch Dante 9 and 10, which is what we just patched it to on the controller. So I'm going to go over here to, I've got fader set up. Okay, so that's good. I've got 35, 36, got those two channels. I don't know if you'll even be able to see it. 35, 36. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to inputs. I could name these if I want to, but I'm not going to at the moment because I don't know if they're going to want to keep it this way. They might want to change it. So I'm going to go down to where it says type. I'm going to set that to linked. Not stereo, but linked. So we're going to go back over here. We're going to see now we've got these two faders linked together. So this means it's now a 2-channel deal. So we're gonna have 2 channels coming in, one here, one here. So we're gonna have a left and right, and I'm gonna patch those from Dante right here. So we're gonna go down to where it says input patch there. So I'm gonna scroll down real quick. Sorry, you can't see it at the moment. I'm gonna go down to input patch. So for the left channel, so channel 35, I'm gonna select 9. Then I'm gonna go over here and just like with my finger, so we've got signal now. Select 36. You see the patching's empty, so I'm gonna select 10. So that's our left and right that we just sent from the backup computer. So I've got Spotify playing right now. So it's not the video, but it's the same deal. You've got left and right audio coming from the computer. So I've got Spotify coming in right now. If we go to this channel, turn it up, we got audio. Sweet. System and signal flow is fun. So, okay, we've got audio coming in now. So one more thing I'm going to show you just for future reference if you want to do this. So what you want to do is we're going to go over here. I talk about panning a lot. So I'm going to select channel 35. Sorry if this video is making you dizzy. I'm moving around. I'm going to go to the pan knob. I'm going to turn 35 all the way left. So you see it's got the light blinking. It says 100 left. I'm going to go to 36. Oop, not the gain. I'm gonna turn it all the way right. So this is gonna keep it from coming in mono, and it's gonna make it sound really spread out. and that's going to help with the super band videos and also with any video illustrations or just sound that might come in the teaching videos as well. So awesome. I really hope this helped. This is a super long video, but if you got through it, then you now know how to get a device onto the Dante network, patch it onto the board, get audio out of it. You are a regular audio engineer. So awesome. Cool, that should be everything. And if there's any further questions, as always, you can comment on this video. You can get in touch with me, get in touch with Tim and Dan, and we can help you guys out. But that should give you a pretty good start on all of this.